My name is Justen Shaw, and I'm a former client of Strickland Webster, and now a lifelong friend of Leanne and Sydney's. I would say that my experiences prior to being incarcerated definitely played a huge role psychologically in leading up to my incarceration. So prior to my incarceration, I was active duty Army for 5 years. I did 2 tours, one to Iraq and one to Afghanistan. I had a lot of psychological things come up during not just the tours, but obviously once I returned stateside. At the trial, I was convicted of aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and obstruction of a police officer. Once Leanne and Sydney began representing me, it was actually kind of abnormal to other people that I was incarcerated with that I got to see my attorney so often. I remember being at Jackson and the fact that Leanne and Sydney were able to actually come in and see how I was doing. It seemed that they cared more than just the legal side of things. They actually cared about my well-being personally. There was constant contact. I was never left wondering what was going on, so that was a blessing. There was constant communication, which I think is important when you're in a situation where, every day is the same routine, and you wake up and you're just expecting to hear something. And the blessing that Leanne and Sydney provided for me was that I got to communicate with them quite often. The end result was that my convictions were overturned at the Georgia State Appellate Court level, and I was released within 24 hours of accepting a plea bargain.
We had a hard-fought motion for new trial hearing in Monroe County, but we were still denied. We went on to the Court of Appeals, where we argued that his attorney had presented the wrong defense and that there were several errors in the jury instructions. The Court of Appeals agreed with us on both. We went back to Monroe County and negotiated for Justen's release.
Since Leanne and Sydney helped me get out of prison, I would say that it's been, almost 6 years. And since then, 3 degrees in 3.5 years, while simultaneously working 5 jobs, starting a company, getting married, having our first child, and I really feel like I was, in some ways, making up for lost time. Those dark times in my life personally, I've tried to forget. I've tried to move on and move past those. But one thing when I do look back on those dark times, or if I'm reflecting, something that was a light in that darkness was Leanne and Sydney.